Let's start it with our first news. Robert Whittaker doesn't see anyone beating Khamzat Chimaev after UFC Paris. The MMA world is buzzing after an action-packed UFC Paris, but one of the biggest talking points didn't even come from inside the octagon. Former middleweight champion Robert Whittaker shared his honest thoughts about Khamzat Chimaev's dominance and potential challengers, and his words have only fueled the ongoing debate surrounding the surging superstar. In the main event of UFC Paris, Nassourdine Imavov secured a hard-fought unanimous decision victory over Caio Borralho. It was another statement win for the French contender, who has quietly built an impressive resume in the middleweight division. Heading into the fight, Imavov was ranked number 2 in the division, and his victory only strengthened his claim for a title shot. He's already defeated big names such as Israel Adesanya, Brendan Allen, and Jared Cannonier, victories that have positioned him firmly on the doorstep of championship contention. Naturally, talk immediately shifted to whether Imavov deserves the next crack at newly crowned middleweight champion Khamzat Chimaev. During a recent appearance on the MMA Arcade podcast, Robert Whittaker weighed in on that exact question. His answer was blunt. "I don't know how anyone beats Khamzat at the moment, to be honest," Whittaker admitted. "His wrestling is just so high level. The only way I see someone really testing him is with elite level jiu-jitsu. If Imavov has that type of jiu-jitsu, something on the level of Gilbert Burns, then maybe we'll see a different kind of fight. But I just don't know. Fights are unpredictable, anything can happen. Maybe Khamzat shoots into a knee or a counter, but right now, I don't see anyone beating him." Whittaker's comments reflect the sentiment of many fans and analysts. Chimaev's suffocating wrestling and relentless pressure have overwhelmed nearly every opponent he has faced. While Imavov has looked exceptional since his loss to Sean Strickland back in 2023, it remains to be seen if his skills are enough to neutralize Chimaev's grappling-heavy style. Still, Imavov was adamant after UFC Paris that he should be the next in line. "I am next," he declared with confidence. "Borralho was unbeaten for 10 years. I just beat him, and I beat him with style. I need to be the next one to fight for the UFC middleweight title." Imavov also reminded fans of his previous accomplishments. "People said against Adesanya that he was the best striker in the world, and I couldn't compete with him on the feet, but I knocked him out. Against Borralho, I didn't have to strike, but I did. He had 16 straight victories, 7 in a row in the UFC, and I won every round. Once again, I proved I'm the best. For me, there's no discussion. I am going to fight for the title. Whether the UFC agrees is another story. The promotion has options. Rainier de Ridder and Anthony Hernandez are set to clash on October 18th in a pivotal matchup. If either delivers a spectacular performance, they could leapfrog into title contention and secure a shot at Chimaev. That possibility leaves Imavov's immediate future uncertain, despite his impressive track record. What is clear is that Khamzat Chimaev sits at the center of the middleweight storm. His rise has been nothing short of meteoric, and as Whittaker pointed out, he currently appears untouchable. But in a sport as unpredictable as MMA, one strike, one submission, or one mistake can change everything. So should Imavov be next, or will the UFC look elsewhere for Chimaev's first title defense? Fans, analysts, and fighters alike will be watching closely as the middleweight division continues to heat up. Move on to another news. Shara Magomedov's coach fires back at Paulo Costa's controversial comments. The tension between Paulo Costa and rising middleweight contender Shara Magomedov has taken a heated turn, with Costa drawing criticism for recent remarks about Magomedov's partial blindness. The Brazilian star's comments sparked immediate backlash, and Magomedov's coach Gor Azizyan has now publicly fired back, escalating the rivalry ahead of a potential showdown later this year. For context, Shara Magomedov's journey to the UFC is nothing short of remarkable. Nearly a decade ago, the Russian striker suffered a devastating eye injury that left him blind in one eye. He endured multiple surgeries in hopes of repairing the damage, but none were successful. Despite this significant setback, Magomedov never gave up on his dream. Through resilience, determination, and sheer striking talent, he rose through the ranks to become one of the most dangerous strikers in the middleweight division today. His ability to compete and win at the highest level of MMA while partially blind has earned him both admiration and respect from fans and fighters alike. However, Paulo Costa, never one to shy away from controversy, recently made light of Magomedov's condition on social media. Reports surfaced that the UFC is targeting a matchup between Costa and Magomedov for its November 22nd card in Qatar, setting the stage for a high-stakes battle. Costa quickly took to Twitter, posting a remark that many saw as disrespectful: "One single good eye poke be penalized with one less point." Shara fights 100% blind, deal. The post instantly drew reactions from the MMA community, with many criticizing Costa for mocking something as serious as a fighter's medical condition. For Magomedov's team, the joke crossed a line. His coach, Gor Azizyan, didn't hold back when responding. Instead of planning to poke Shara in the eye, you better watch out so you don't get poked somewhere else. Azizyan shot back, turning Costa's comment on its head while defending his fighter's honor. Azizyan's response underscores just how serious Magomedov's camp is about this potential fight. Beyond the verbal exchanges, Magomedov's presence in the middleweight division is a story of perseverance and grit. Despite his vision impairment, he has proven to be one of the division's most creative and technical strikers. His timing, accuracy, and unpredictable attacks have allowed him to thrive against fighters who hold every physical advantage. Costa, meanwhile, remains one of the most polarizing figures in MMA. Known as Borrachinha, the Brazilian has a reputation for trash talk and stirring up drama before fights. While some fans enjoy his antics, others believe his latest comments about Magomedov's eye were a step too far. The potential clash between Costa and Magomedov is already generating buzz, not just because of the controversy, but because of the stylistic matchup. Costa brings explosive power, physicality, and relentless pressure. Magomedov, on the other hand, relies on precision, movement, and creativity in the striking department. The fight promises fireworks, but the build-up has now added an extra layer of intensity. As the November card approaches, fans will be eager to see whether Costa can back up his words, or if Magomedov can turn adversity into triumph yet again. What remains clear is that this rivalry is no longer just about rankings or title contention, it's about respect. So what do you think? Were Costa's comments simply mind games, or did he cross the line by mocking Magomedov's condition? And when the cage door closes, who do you see emerging victorious? Paulo Borrachinha, Costa, or Shara Magomedov? Move on to another news. Tom Aspinall talks about UFC 321 press conference in Paris. Tom Aspinall's road to UFC 321 took him to Paris this past week as he joined Ciryl Gane for the official press conference promoting their highly anticipated heavyweight clash. While the trip was designed to drum up excitement for the fight, Aspinall quickly discovered that Parisian fans weren't exactly rolling out the red carpet for him. During the press event, the English heavyweight was met with a chorus of boos from the French crowd, who were firmly behind their hometown hero, Ciryl Gane. The reaction, however, didn't rattle Aspinall in the slightest. In fact, he admitted afterward that he was expecting nothing less. "Of course I was going to get booed," Aspinall said when asked about the hostile reception. "We're in Paris, this is Cyril's backyard. I knew it was coming, and honestly, I'm not bothered at all. It felt like a bit of a circus, but that's just part of the job. If we're anywhere else in the world apart from Paris, the support will be different, and that's fine by me." Aspinall's cool-headed approach reflects his steady personality, which has become a hallmark of his rise in the heavyweight division. While many fighters might bristle at being heckled, Aspinall shrugged it off with the calmness of a veteran who understands the game. Interestingly, not everyone in Aspinall's camp took the boos so lightly. His father, who was present at the press conference, was reportedly surprised by just how vocal and passionate the French fans were. The intensity of the crowd left an impression, though it clearly didn't shake Aspinall himself. Despite the electric atmosphere, the build-up to the fight hasn't taken on the typical animosity that often accompanies high-profile matchups. Both Aspinall and Gane have remained respectful toward each other throughout the promotion. Neither man has resorted to trash talk or manufactured drama, and their interactions suggest a fight built more on skill and merit than personal rivalry. Case in point, the UFC had the two heavyweights seated near each other during UFC Paris, and when they crossed paths earlier in fight week, the meeting was entirely cordial. It's a refreshing contrast in a sport where heated rivalries often dominate the headlines. Still, the crowd's energy in Paris underscored just how invested French fans are in Gane's success. With UFC events in Paris still relatively new, local supporters have rallied behind their heavyweight star, creating a charged atmosphere that will likely carry over into fight night. Aspinall also had reason to celebrate while in Paris, as one of his teammates, Ante Delija, made a big splash in his octagon debut. Delija, who previously competed in the PFL, secured a stunning first-round finish over Marcin Tybura. Aspinall's reaction to the win was one of pure excitement and pride, showing once again the close bond he shares with his training partners. As UFC 321 draws closer, all eyes will be on the heavyweight clash between Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane. While the boos in Paris may have been loud, Aspinall's message is clear: the crowd doesn't fight for Gane, and when the octagon door closes, it's just him and his opponent. Calm, composed, and confident, Aspinall looks ready to embrace the challenge on enemy soil. Move on to another news. Khamzat Chimaev's huge UFC plan revealed. The dream of becoming a three-division champion, Khamzat Chimaev has taken the UFC by storm since his debut, establishing himself as one of the most feared and unpredictable fighters on the roster. His relentless wrestling, explosive striking, and unshakable confidence have made him a nightmare for opponents and a fan favorite around the globe. But according to his head coach, Alan Do Nascimento, Boards isn't just here to dominate one weight class, he's aiming to make UFC history by becoming a multi-division champion. During a recent conversation on Shadi official's Instagram, Nascimento revealed the long-term plan for Chimaev's career. While the immediate focus remains on his current middleweight run, the camp's vision is far bigger than just capturing a single belt. We're just seeing how things play out, taking it as it comes, Nascimento explained. But of course there will come a time when we're going to have to change divisions. Khamzat has the dream of becoming a two-division or even a three-division champion. That's the goal, and that's what we're focused on working toward. The statement adds fuel to the excitement surrounding Chimaev's meteoric rise. To date, very few fighters have even attempted to conquer three divisions in the UFC, let alone succeed. Legends such as Conor McGregor, Daniel Cormier, and Henry Cejudo cemented their legacies by becoming double champions, but a triple division champion would be truly historic. If Chimaev can pull it off, he would stand alone as one of the greatest to ever step into the octagon. Currently, Chimaev is locked in at middleweight, where he recently claimed the UFC title with a dominant performance. His blend of size, power, and grappling makes him a nightmare matchup for anyone at 185 pounds. Yet his team clearly believes his skill set translates across multiple weight classes. At welterweight, Chimaev already proved himself with explosive wins over top contenders. Many still recall his razor-thin war with Gilbert Burns, a fight that showcased both his toughness and his ability to battle through adversity. The idea of Chimaev returning to 170 pounds to claim gold remains on the table, especially given the stylistic matchups that favor his pressure-heavy style. Then there's light heavyweight at 205 pounds. While the jump in size would be significant, Chimaev's frame, strength, and wrestling pedigree could allow him to compete against larger opponents. It wouldn't be the first time in UFC history that a dominant wrestler moved up in weight and shocked the division. Nascimento's comments also highlight an important mindset: Chimaev's camp is not rushing the process. We take it step by step, he emphasized. The focus now is to keep moving forward, to go through each challenge the UFC puts in front of us. But the dream remains the same: to make history. For fans, the prospect of Chimaev chasing 3 belts adds yet another layer of intrigue to his already captivating career. Every fight now carries not only title implications, but also the potential to shape the narrative of a historic run. Whether or not Chimaev can achieve the seemingly impossible remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: his ambitions go far beyond just being another UFC champion. He wants to redefine what's possible inside the octagon. Move on to another news. Israel Adesanya reacts to potential Nassourdine Imavov versus Khamzat Chimaev clash. The middleweight division is heating up, and former UFC champion Israel Adesanya has weighed in on one of the most intriguing potential matchups on the horizon: Nassourdine Imavov versus Khamzat Chimaev. Following Imavov's big win at UFC Paris, fans and analysts alike have been speculating about how he might fare against the surging middleweight king, and Adesanya recently shared his perspective. Imavov impressed once again at UFC Paris, solidifying his position as one of the top contenders in the division. With his sharp striking, composure inside the cage, and consistent improvements in all areas of his game, he has become a serious threat to anyone standing across from him. That has naturally led to discussions about how he would perform against Chimaev, whose meteoric rise and relentless fighting style have made him one of the most dominant forces in the UFC. Speaking on the potential showdown, Adesanya highlighted what he believes to be the key factor in the fight: Chimaev's wrestling. Khamzat versus Imavov: I'm not just going to cancel out Imavov right now, Adesanya said. If his takedown defense is sharp and he can take away the wrestling from Khamzat, he'll give him problems. That's really the key. Khamzat can strike, yes, but wrestling is his main weapon. He commits a lot to it, he gets the grip, he takes people down, and he keeps them down. If Nassourdine can stop that, he'll cause Khamzat some real issues. Adesanya's analysis reflects the way many fighters and fans view Chimaev's skill set. While Boards has proven that he's dangerous everywhere, his wrestling-heavy game plan is what has carried him to the top. His ability to close distance quickly, drag opponents to the canvas, and dominate with pressure is second to none. Fighters who can't stop the takedown often find themselves trapped under Chimaev's suffocating top control. but Adesanya made it clear that Imavov shouldn't be underestimated. He praised the French contender's ability to adapt and remain composed under pressure, suggesting that if Imavov can keep the fight standing, the momentum could swing in his favor. Right now, Khamzat's on point, Adesanya acknowledged. He's got all the momentum behind him, and he's riding that wave. But so does Imavov. He's coming off a big win, his confidence is high, and he's proven he belongs at the top. Who's going to win? We'll see. That's what makes this fight so interesting. The potential clash between Imavov and Chimaev would be more than just a matchup of styles, it would be a battle of wills. Imavov's patient striking and calculated defense would be tested against Chimaev's relentless pace and grappling arsenal. The fight could determine whether Chimaev continues his run of dominance or if a new contender emerges to shake up the division. Adesanya's comments add even more intrigue to the conversation. As a former champion who has faced the best middleweights in the world, his perspective carries weight. And with both Imavov and Chimaev gaining momentum, fans are left eagerly waiting to see if the UFC will book this blockbuster showdown. For now, the middleweight landscape remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: Israel Adesanya sees a path for Imavov to challenge Chimaev's dominance, and that makes this matchup one of the most compelling possibilities in the UFC today.